Hey y'all, Bridget Bartlett here. Today we're going to talk about how to promote your newsletter on social media. This is actually part 4 of a series that we've been working on. So if you missed any of the previous training, you can access that in our knowledge base. If you are not a member, you can go to bridgetbartlett.com and register, become a free member. Or if you are a current high level member, or you are interested in joining high level, you can join there as well. Okay, so you can see here in the knowledge base, I have our video here. Also, you'll see that I have added a content planner to help you. This is what it looks like here. So the content planner, what we want to do is keep in mind, yesterday we wrote the newsletter. We've created our template. We've talked about the automated process of it. And now we need to actually promote our newsletter because the newsletter is our lead magnet. That's what we're going to use to get traffic to our business or our offers. But we need to get them to sign up for the newsletter, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to use these strategies to post on social media, which will then drive traffic to get people to register for the newsletter, where they will be able to receive all of the value that we're offering and, of course, whatever our call to action is. Okay, so basically what we want is hashtags in the content. We want our actual content, so some written content, and then also some images. And then we, of course, need our call to action. So the call to action for everyone is going to be to sign up for the newsletter, right? So, if you go to ChatGPT, this is my favorite thing. Of course, you can do it the old school way and you can write it all out, but why would we do that when we can just make this really simple? I use ChatGPT. This is the AI PRM extension. I do have the premium plan, but there is a free version as well. If you're not using any of this, you can just type this in, into the chat to help you. But these prompts they do make it easier because they have built in the information that you need to really structure a good newsletter. So what I'm going to do is write our newsletter, and we talked yesterday about the topic here. So it's 7 winning strategies to help you grow your audience on Twitter fast. Okay, so this is going to be what the newsletter is all about, or our blog post that we're creating, which we're going to send the newsletter to have them click to go to the blog post. Okay. Again, I talked about that yesterday, so check that out if you missed it. So I'm going to go ahead and generate this newsletter or blog post. Okay, so it's writing this for us, and you'll see that it's giving us 7 different topics. All right, so this is the content of the newsletter. Now, the next thing is we need to start filling out our worksheet, right? So we need content and we need hashtags. So I can stay here in the same thread, and then I can say create 5 social media posts to create interest in our newsletter. So now it's going to create 5 social media posts. So that is definitely one strategy of doing this. You could also create the content based off of one of these. Now, technically, you would be kind of everything that you're talking about in the newsletter, you would be posting on social media, but the chances are no one's going to read all of them every single day, right? Especially if we're only creating 5 posts and the newsletter has 7 winning strategies. So the goal here is to just create interest so that people want to find out more. So you could take this first topic here, copy it, and then say create a social media post about the importance of, I'm just going to paste that, define your target audience on Twitter to grow fast. Okay, so now it's going to create that post there. So now we have this. So whatever strategy you would like to take, it's totally up to you. This I do think is probably a better strategy because these can come across sometimes as, like an ad or whatever. But this actually gives the value and then drives the interest to your newsletter, right? So I'm going to just take this as the first example. And you see here that we have the hashtags as well. So I'm just going to copy this, go back to our newsletter. I'm going to paste, let's go back there and paste Control V. Control Shift and V will paste just like it was typed out there. Now we have our hashtags here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to go back and add my hashtags. Now my call to action. Let's go ahead and shrink this up a little bit. So my call to action is simply going to be to sign up for my newsletter, to learn more about the best winning strategies for growing your audience on Twitter fast. Sign up for my newsletter and then I just want to put whatever the link is to my newsletter. So it might be sign up bridgetbartlett.com. Now, if you do go there, you're not going to see anything because I don't have a newsletter. But I do have a newsletter, but mine is actually I send emails 5 days a week. So and it's all about the training because I'm live so often. That's kind of the replacement of my newsletter. But this may be your option, right? So now we have our first post and we have our hashtags here and we have our call to action, but now we need to create an image. Okay. So of course it's easier when you are creating this ahead of time, it's easier for you to go ahead and just do all 5 of these. Okay. Now you could of course do more, but if you're sending out a newsletter, every 7 days, then you want, at least 5 days worth of content to drive the traffic to that specific newsletter. Because next week you may be talking about growth strategies for Facebook, or you may be talking about, ways to get leads using Facebook ads, or, whatever your topic may be for the week. You want your content to be about whatever that topic is, so that if they opt in to the newsletter about growing on Twitter, then they are receiving the newsletter about Twitter growth, right? So it just makes sense if our audience opted into that, they are interested in growing an audience on Twitter. So if you did have a blog article or in your newsletter, you wanted to share affiliate links for maybe Twitter growth tools, or maybe your business or your services, consultations, your social media, management, whatever you want to offer in there, that the people who opted in here are interested in growing their audience on Twitter fast. Okay. So those would be some good tactics to use there. All right. Now, of course, we need to have an image here. Okay. So I definitely am going to use Midjourney. And what I want to do is I want to copy this, and I actually want to go back now to my extensions, and I'm going to type in Midjourney, because one of the challenging things with Midjourney are the prompts. This is usually what makes people kind of give up on Midjourney. But it's actually really simple when you have these types of prompts for you. So I'm going to I'm just going to click one of these to check it out, and I'm going to enter in a description here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Okay, so now it's giving me a prompt here. Now I don't really even know if that was a great prompt actually, or if I told it really a great description, but let's just test it out. We're testing this together. Okay. So I'm going to open up my Discord here, and I do have training on Midjourney as well. If you're like, what is Midjourney? I have no idea. Go into the training. You just type in Midjourney. I have all kinds of training on this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that prompt just like it gave it to me, and I'm going to put it in here and click enter. Now you can see that it is thinking and it's preparing to start, and it's going to create an image. And you can see here, like the one that we did yesterday, once it creates the image, you can choose whether you want to upscale one of them. To choose one image, you need to choose which one to upscale. And then you can actually choose different versions of that you want. So let's see here what it's actually creating. It really doesn't take that long, but it's super, super cool. So it's kind of looking interesting. So let's go back here and read what our targeting success on Twitter starts with knowing your audience. Okay, so let's go back here, and you can see these are really interesting images. And actually, this one is I have no idea what that is. This one might be kind of cool, but let's actually create a better prompt than that. Let's go back here. Let's type in, let's go AI art. And then let's say audience, growing audience on Twitter fast to get leads. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with here. All right, so I'm just going to copy this and I am going to go back to Midjourney. Yeah, so that doesn't look too bad right there. Let's go ahead and just type this in. Now we're going to hit enter and then see what it gives us, okay? So if we did like this image here, of course, we could use that if we want to. It's still, oops, why did I do that? I just closed down my Midjourney. Let me go back here. Midjourney is used with Discord, by the way. So it's going to give us the image. We will decide what we want to use. Let's just say, okay, so let's say I want to upscale this one. And then once it's done doing that, then we can choose to print or download. And once that downloads, we're actually going to use it in the scheduler. Okay, so while it does that, let's go now back to, open up my window. Let's go to Canva, okay, because we need to create a pinned post. I'm just going to choose the square here, which is like Instagram. Instagram square is 1080 by 1080. That is usually a good size if you're looking for kind of a universal size. And let's just say for this one, of course, we would want to rebrand all of this. And this is going to be the image ad for our newsletter. Okay, I'm going to just change all of these yellows. I'm going to change this here. And I would just say sign up. Um, weekly newsletter. And then, of course, let's say author. And you need to be more selly on this. And when I say selly, I mean, it has to be more compelling. Sign up for weekly newsletter is not really that compelling, but maybe down here you want to say, um, sign up for the weekly newsletter. And then, of course, you want to restructure this to say something like, learn the top tips and tricks to grow your online business. All right, so that's just um, my little generic quick saying here. Maybe I want to even, we could say every Friday. Every Friday. And you could even have a time there if you want to. Okay. So definitely play around with this. I mean, this is the point, right? You just want to create a post that is going to, that you're going to be able to post on your social media and then pin it to the top. So I'm just going to say, first I need to spell my name right. Bartlett. Okay, and I'm going to stop editing this because I could really do this all day long, playing around with Canva. It's one of my favorite tools or toys, whatever you want to call it. But definitely let's get my image on there. So there we go. All right, so now we quickly created this pin post. Of course, I would want to change all this and put the link to my newsletter and things like that. But let's go ahead and download. And then what I want to do is I want to go to my social media. Okay. And then I want to drag this image up here. And then I'm going to say, sign up. Let's see, sign up for my newsletter. And I maybe want to change this every week to show what I am talking about for the week. So sign up for my newsletter to learn the top 7 winning strategies to grow your audience on what fast. Okay. So now here's the thing. You do not want to put links in the description, typically, or yes, in the description of the post, typically. Let me shut my door because my dogs are going nuts. Okay, you may not have even heard that because I use Crisp and it's amazing, but it drives me crazy. Okay, so you typically don't want to put links in there because anytime that you post on social media, it will actually, and you have a link in the description, the platform will bury your post because they don't like posts that send people off of the platform. So what we could say is uh, the link to the link to register is in the first comment. But since we are going to pin this post, you probably could put the link in there, and you may even want to do both, but it's totally up to you. That's just some options that you want to choose. So since we are going to pin this, let's just go ahead and say sign up at, and then we'll do sign up dot bridgetbartlett.com. All right. So now we have created our pin post. So what I would do is I would want to post this. Now I want to post this on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, my Facebook profile, maybe my Facebook business page, maybe my LinkedIn business page, maybe my Facebook group. You want to post this everywhere, okay? And then when you do that, you're going to want to go to the post. Let's just say this one here, and then you want to click pin. And what that's going to do is it's going to pin this to the top. And then all of the content that you're creating, when it shows up in someone's timeline and they're like, this is interesting. Who is this person? They go to your profile, they see your whole business because it should be optimized. And then the first thing they see is your call to action, which is your newsletter. Okay. So you want to post that everywhere. All right. So once you have that, let's go ahead and go back to Midjourney. Okay. So now we have, oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting too, but I actually like this one. So I'm going to choose this, or actually just for the sake of time, we could choose this, and then I'm going to save the image. So let's go ahead, let me put it in my downloads here, and we'll just call this Twitter 1. All right. So now we have our first image. All right. So we have our hashtags. We have the content of our post. We created the graphic and the pin post that we've pinned to all the top of our social media. And we have our call to action here. So now we need to schedule this. Okay. So once you've created all of your content for the week, you want to go into your high level account. Like I said, if you don't have high level yet, you can go to bridgetbartlett.com and register for a free trial. But you're going to want to connect all of your social media accounts. And then, of course, we're going to create our first post. So when you go to the new post, you will see that you actually have social media content and many different niches that you could choose from. So if you're like, this is so overwhelming, I just need to start getting some traffic, I haven't figured out, even how to create a newsletter, you're just super overwhelmed, at least use one of these and start getting some traffic. Okay, just start getting some content building so that you can have something interesting for people to look at while they're checking out your profile. Because if there's nothing, or it's just a bunch of irrelevant like cat videos or something like that, that tells them nothing. So you're actually hurting yourself as opposed to helping yourself by having nothing at all or irrelevant content. Okay. So we are actually, since we created our own, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and post. Now I do have training on how you could upload this to a CSV and just upload the CSV and then it will schedule and everything automatically for you. But again, just to make it simple, you can check out that training if that is something that you want to do. But in this case, we're just going to do it this way here. So I'm going to select all of the accounts that I want to schedule my content to. And then here is where I want to schedule it. Now you'll see here that we do have the option to use the content AI writer. You can type in the content title and a brief description, any keywords you want to use, your writing tone, and then how how many variations. This is really simple to do. However, most of us, and all of you guys watching, we are we are marketers, right? So this is great for our clients who are not interested in marketing. They just need something fast to be able to use, and maybe they're really overwhelmed by chat gpt and how it all works together, and they have no interest in that because they are a doctor or a lawyer, or they have other things that they're doing. But for us, being in marketing, we want to use chat gpt because it's cheaper, and because it's you probably already have an account anyway. Okay, so you could definitely do this if you want to generate very similar results. But in our case, really the best practice, because like I said, it's cheaper and this will use credits. What we want to do is just simply copy this content. Okay, so I'm going to go back here now, and then I'm just going to paste the content just like it is. Okay. Now I need to add my image. Okay, so I'm going to go and search for my image, and let me grab that image here. I think it was this one. Okay, so let's see. Save. All right, I don't know why it's not saving. Let's save to the desktop here. All right, so we'll go upload, and we'll go to desktop, and let's get that image. All right, so I don't know what is happening right now. Oh, I know why. Because I need to open it in a browser. Duh. All right, so save image, and then let's say Twitter, image, and save. Now we can drag this up there, and then now we can just double click once it uploads. And now we have our first post. But it does tell you Twitter supports images that are 5 MB or smaller. So one thing that you could do right away, you could go to one tiny PNG. You could go to let's type in Instagram because it's the perfect size there usually. So we could do this, and then we could just drag this up, and then click here and get our image, and it will be a much smaller size. So I'm just going to go ahead and download as a PNG. And then we will go back to, say, Twitter image 1. And we'll go back here to our screen. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to add a new image, and I'm going to drag that up. Now we can double click, and our image is a better size. So if we open this up and you go into the folder, you can actually see, if you hover over it, it'll tell you the size. So now you can see it's a much smaller size, which is 1.3 MB. And this right here it says 4.8. So definitely a much larger image. Okay, so now we have our post here, and we have our image. So here's the cool thing, okay? When you are posting to all of these platforms at once, you'll see here that you actually have the ability to add a follow-up comment, okay? So when you are scheduling ahead of time, it doesn't matter so much when you're doing the pin post, but when you're scheduling ahead of time, you definitely don't want to have the link in the post because it's going to get buried. So what you can do is add your call to action here in the first comment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to my scheduler, and I'm going to paste this. Now you can see here that it tells you that it's available for Facebook pages and groups, Instagram business accounts, LinkedIn profiles and pages, and Twitter profiles. Okay, so here what we want to say is register. Oh, I think I'm out of characters here. So we can either reword this. Let's see if it'll let me register. Okay, so we would probably want to reword this so that it will work for all the platforms because Twitter, it limits the amount of characters. So we would definitely want to reword this so that we can say register. Link is in the first comment. Now on Google My Business, what's really cool is you can choose your call to action. So if you want to have a call to action, select an event date, which you can see here. Also your offer, you can add that there. But in this case where we're just sharing a link, we could just have the call to action here. So we could just say, learn more, and then paste the link to our newsletter here. And then it will actually show up in Google My Business, kind of like it's an ad. So we would just want to paste that there. Okay. So this is going to be our content for every single platform, and it's going to post when we tell it to post, right? We can click this option here. You can post it now. You can schedule to post. You can send post for approval if you're doing this for clients, or of course you could delete this, okay? Now I'm not going to post this because I don't want it to actually post on all of my platforms, but you can see here what it would look like. And the image is in the preview. It's a little distorted in the actual preview view, but when it posts, it looks a lot better. So you can toggle over here to see how it's going to look and make sure that that is the look that you're going for. Okay. So I know that that was a lot of information. Again, if you want this content planner here, all you need to do is go into the knowledge base and search for, newsletter, and you will see down here, download content planner. Okay. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training. If you have any questions, you can join us for open office hours starting right now at bridgetbartlett.com. It's free and open to everyone, so I'll